Hello, this is Joseph, and today I was going to go over how to use Riot 3 with Webpack 3. Um, it's the tutorial I have is really rough. These things take a while to produce, and so I'm giving you guys the GitHub URL. This will be provided in the link description below. But overall, I'm walking through the process of how to configure Webpack 3 and Babel with Riot. And getting those things rolling. This is a time-consuming process, and even typing out the configuration file for Webpack itself is very error prone. So I'm really sorry for the quality of this screencast, but hopefully I'll be able to walk you through some of the things that will happen and why it is kind of needed, at least from my perspective, to be done, because there just isn't a good resource on how to use Riot 3 with Webpack 3. There are older versions of Riot and older versions of Webpack that there has been documentation on, but for the newer versions, there's just not really been anything out there. So again, enjoy, and again, sorry, this is kind of a longer screencast than normal. And today we're going to be walking through how to use Riot with Webpack, and this is the latest version of Riot, which is Riot 3 and Webpack 3. There's also some library we're going to use, but it's been forked with the Webpack loader with Riot. So I'll be walking you through how to do that too, how to pull an npm package from GitHub directly. And so let's get started. First thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and initialize the package.json file from npm. So we're just going to do an npm init, and I'm just going to default everything here for now. So if you look at that, we should have package.json. And I'm going to use Visual Studio Code for this thing here, but this is basically all I generated for now. And then we're gonna go ahead and start to include what we need to be installed. So we're gonna have npm install, and we're gonna specify Babel, Webpack, the Babel loader, and let's see what else here. Obviously we need Riot. That's kind of an important thing, and we can also do some of the presets. I believe it's like a Babel preset env and Babel preset ES 2015. I believe these the 2015 preset's been taken over by the env preset, and that's probably not loaded anymore, but I'm loading it just in case. Let's see here, what else can we do? I believe that's it. So we just need Babel, Webpack, Babel loader, Riot presets for, or Babel presets for the env and ES 2015. And then -- save, and this will put this inside the package.json. So that's all installing, and once that finishes, this document should upload. The other part to this is that we need to install a custom npm package from GitHub directly, and I'll talk about this as to why. You can just search for customized Riot.js loader in Google, and this should come up. Should be the first result. This is forked from this project, and my understanding is this project hasn't been updated in some time, and it doesn't work with Riot or Webpack 3 basically. And so the change that was done here was to allow the Riot loader to work with the newest version of Webpack. These instructions are just are not correct. They're for like Webpack version 1 or something, and so I'll be walking you through how to install this and set it up for Webpack 3 specifically. All right, let's see if that's still installing. Nope, that's done. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to do is just install the customized thing. So we'll say customize Riot.js loader, And you can call this whatever you want. It doesn't have to be specific to whatever the GitHub repo is called. And then we're going to do git plus, and we're going to copy the URL from here. We're just going to click on the little clipboard and paste that in. So then this will go ahead and give us the dependencies that we should hopefully just need. And we can just do npm update. So that's going to install. Next thing we want to do is just add some new files here. So we'll do like index.html. We'll make a folder called src, if I could spell that right. And we'll name this one, we'll add a new file here called app.js. Let's go ahead and actually get started. Well, let me make one folder here called components. Okay. So app.js, we're just going to go ahead and do import Riot. And I think down below, we'll just start the DOM listener. So we'll say document dot add event listener. And this will be on DOM content load it. The events. Actually, let me rename this file real quick from JS to ES. ES5 or ES6. There you go. All right, so that's that. And we can probably do a little component there, but let's go ahead and start to jump in to the index file. src equals, and this will most likely be in our dist folder, dist.app.js. And this is also going to be split up between a vendor files, which will be Riot, jQuery, whatever else you have, and then the actual script that you want. So we're going to need to load in the vendor's file separately as well, and the commons as well. So let's just go ahead and copy this. And this will be commons. So it will be vendor bundle.js, and then actually this will be bundle.js too. Okay, and then we can say div id equals app, and say hello world. And this is going to be the kind of the placeholder for what Riot will take over and work with. So now let's go ahead and start on the Webpack file. So here we can just add a new file. Or not inside components. Okay. So this will be webpack.config.js. And here we're just going to do the typical stuff with is path, constant path equals require and path. And then we need one more for the Webpack. All right, and then we do the typical Webpack stuff, which is module.exports And we're going to provide a context. This is where all the JavaScript's going to live. We're going to do path.resolve. And this will be the current directory name. And then src, because that's where we're putting all of our JavaScript stuff at. The next thing will be the entry. So the entry just has to do if you want to have like multiple Webpack files that are specific to like maybe a website or a web page, then you'd have custom entries. And so the first thing I'm going to set up is the vendor section, and then this is why I put bundles, the vendor, and the common config stuff. Is that if I want to have multiple JavaScript files across different web applications, I can share the same vendor files like jQuery, Riot, so on and so forth. So here we're just going to put in Riot. And then the next one would be what you want the name of the file to be called. So I'm going to call this app, and respectively I'm going to link it to the app.es6. So all this is saying is that when this is compiled, app.js is going to be the resulting name here for the script that we're including, app.bundle.js. And we're pulling it from here. We're not specifying the src path because we're already putting the context of where that's coming from. And then we have Riot being loaded as a separate file, and this will be the Riot vendor.bundle.js. All right, so let's see here. The output path. So this has to do with where we're going to put, and I said we're going to have the .dist distribution folder basically. So we're going to say output, and we're going to copy the same path here. I don't have to retype it, and we're going to put this as dist, and then the file name. This is where the bundle stuff came into play. So we didn't have to put the bundle stuff there if you don't want to, but this is what I'm using as just a convention. All right, and then I want source maps for now. That would be helpful. So we're going to put in source map. This way, as I'm debugging, I can see what line the actual issue is happening at. And it actually does Riot too. It'll tell you the Riot component and the line that it's having a problem with. So that's kind of cool. The next thing we want to load in is the plugins. So we're going to specify plugins. There'll be one more line after that, but we'll go into that a little bit. So this will be new Webpack.provider provide plugin, and we're going to specify Riot. Let's see here. Current common chunk. If we'll leave alone. So that's all we need for plugins for now, I believe. And next what would be with the module, and this is where we're going to load in the rules for the preloaders and the post loaders. All right, so this is probably gonna be a pain to type out, but jumping back to what this was saying on what you should do for loading up the preloaders. This doesn't exist anymore in Riot, in Webpack 3. So this actually needs to be rewritten. So I'm gonna go ahead and just rewrite that to be for Webpack 3. So we're gonna have to have enforce. So preloaders in Webpack 3 now are just enforced as pre. And then we want to test for the components for Riot itself. So that'll be a regular expression. And we're going to be looking for the tag files. It would be like .html or .riot or whatever you want to call them, but tag is kind of what Riot uses. And I'll just stick for that for now. We're going to exclude anything in the node_modules folder, as always. And then the loader, the custom loader we're going to be using is what was the package name called. So it'll be customize Riot.js loader. Let me just confirm that on the package JSON. Yeah. And then query we'll leave alone for now, but we still need it. All right, let's see. So the next one we're going to want to do is if you want to use any type of Babel code or like ES 2015 code in your Riot components, then you can go ahead and enable that. So we'll enable that too, since I'm pretty sure it's going to be common. We don't need enforce here since it's not a preloader, and we're going to test for anything that has the extension of .js. Or anything that has the I forgot a slash here. Anything that has the extension of the dot tag, which is the Riot component. Okay, and let's see, the next one, we're just gonna probably copy over the exclude. I didn't even spell this right. That's not good. Exclude. And then there's the loader, and we're gonna use the Babel loader. So that's what we installed when we first started the project. And the options here, we're just going to include the 2015 preset. Presets and the ES 2015. If you wanted to use the 2016 and 2017, just make sure you're you installing that with the package. So then, like for example, it'd be 2016 and so on and so forth. This way, then you can you just tack it on, so it'd be like ES 2016 and so on and so forth, and whatever presets you also want to use. So if we wanted to start this, we can jump into the terminal. And if you didn't install Webpack globally, it would be in your node modules. So it'd be like node_modules, webpack/bin/webpack. And you just press enter. So here it's giving up some stuff. Let's see, invalid configuration option. Webpack has been initialized, but the configuration object does not match the API schema. Module has an unknown. Oh, it's not rule, it's rules. That's nice. And then let's run it again. Okay, well, what is wrong now? Rows tool should be used. One of the following. So did I type something wrong here? Use loader, Babel loader, options. Here we go. That's the problem. And there should be options too. Case. Let's try it one more time. Okay, what is wrong here? Output context unknown. Oh, it's not context, it's path. All right. Let's try this one more time. Cannot find module Babel core. So we need to do an npm install Babel core save. Okay, let's try this once again. Let's see, unexpected token. What? That is odd. No emit on errors plugin defined. Instance occurrence. Oh, I didn't include this in a quote. All right, so let's try this again. All right, so there we go. And now that we have that started, we can actually just do a watch command like that. So that anytime we're making a change, let me put this down real quick. Console.log 123. We get back the compiled stuff here. So that's loading. Let's see. Let's go ahead and actually see this in action. Okay. Let's do open. Take the index file. So we got hello world. We can inspect it, look at the console, and we're getting that from that. So that should be the start of the good stuff. Let's see here. What else can we do? The Riot component we should be able to start now. So let's go ahead and start the Riot component itself. And let's just make a simple, input tag. So we'll make an input component. New file. I'll call this s.input.tag. And then we'll go ahead and do s input and then we're going to have the input type equals text, class equals form control, ID equals ref ID, and then value equals bear with me here. Okay, so that's set. Next thing we're going to want to do is just put in the JavaScript code to map some of these values from the options. Text/JavaScript. Oh my goodness. Okay. So then we're going to say this dot value equals ops dot value. We're going to do that for the ref ID too. And then we're going to have a function to synchronize the value. So this dot sync value equals function. And this will be this dot value equals this dot refs dot input and dot value. And just to like a little Riot reference here, I'm using this and not trying to call in the ID or the name of that because I'm with the newer version of Riot, you can just reference the name of whatever you want to call it. I called it input, so then you can just get the value directly from the input there. This dot trigger, and if this is like if there's any listeners assigned to this for the value, I can trigger the listener for that. All right, so that's set up now. Next thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and include that. So this is where like the Riot, customized Riot loader stuff comes into, because you actually can just include the component, the Riot component itself. So we're going to do import, and this will be components, and this will be s.input.tag. So if I save that, I don't think I have the watch command set up. All right, so that's loading. It's good. The next thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and initialize Riot to get set up in this application code. So we can do trying to see where. Yeah, so we're going to do riot.mount, and this is going to be the ID. So we called it app here, so we're just referencing that, and then we're going to load up the options. Actually, let me change this here. Instead of a div, that would be s input. Actually, no, let's leave that as is. We can just initialize the whole thing. And let's see here, if we put s-input value equals hello, that should work. And then we go to our browser. Let's see, cannot read class of undefined. Right, didn't seem to load correctly there. Okay, commons is not loading either. That's odd. Oh, there is no commons. Okay, so I'll just leave that up for now. Let's see here. What am I doing wrong? Right.mount. Let me just jump over to Riot documentation again. I'm a little rusty on this. Oh, right, with this asterisk. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just do that then. Since we don't need to load anything specific to Riot. Let's try again. Right. Okay, well that's our input right there. All right, and that should be it. So yeah, that's how you get the Riot loader in. So just to recap on what we're doing, here we have just a regular JavaScript code. I'm having the .es6 for ES 2015. This way, if I wanted to do use the class rather than the function, so on and so forth, I should be able to actually do this within a tag too. So for example, I could just say get rid of this function, the fat arrow, and that will give me the correct context for this. So if this was ever used for anything, then that'll use forth. So yeah, we have the main thing. It's including the Riot, the components section is leveraging the Riot loader that was built by some other person. And then for Webpack specifically, this is usually the area that you'd get hooked up on, is the modules and rules and how to go ahead and use the preloaders from that module and so on and so forth. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any issues. I'm sorry, this is a really rough tutorial that I'm going over. I kind of ran short on time. I've redone this a couple times already as it is. But yeah, let me know if this has been helpful, and if not, I'll just maybe remake the video.